What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, PokeLive. On today's video, I am super excited because I found recently, just by digging around, how do we stop weeds from growing? I am just blown away that I've never looked into this sooner. I've been playing this game for a while. Obviously, it's been out for a few years now, but my weeds just grow insane on my island, and I'm pretty sure most of your guys's do as well. So I did my research and I figured out there actually is a way in the game to stop them from growing, especially if you have certain areas that tend to be prone to them, like along the cliffs, like I just ran, kind of like tucked away where you can't see them, where you don't go too much. So they are pretty aggravating in the game, and especially if you time travel a lot for different reasons, that will definitely spawn a lot of weeds, and they just grow much like they do in real life. They just keep spreading and spreading and they don't stop. So I wanted to make a tutorial for you guys on how you can get rid of them. So first things first, I am just going to clean up this area. As you guys can see, there are so many weeds over here. I am just impressed that I have not groomed this area. So that's what I'm going to start out with first. And yes, you do need some weeds for some DIYs, so I wouldn't recommend getting rid of every single weed, plus I think that would just be so excessive. So I would just recommend doing this in areas where they just don't stop. Like this area, I'm just overwhelmed with how many there were, so I am super excited to take care of this once and for all. So once you've cleaned up your area, you are going to go to the island designer mode, and this will just help us to get that customization process started here. And then once we're good to go with that, we can go ahead and go over to the custom designs app. And what you're going to want to do is find a blank spot. So I'm just going to pick the only one that I have left, and we're going to click change that design. So you will be brought over to this template here, and I am going to have you make any random design. I'm just going to make a bright red check mark just so I can see it. Just use any color that's not green because it will be hard to see on the grass. And I'm just going to name it check mark just to keep everything nice and organized. And then what you're going to want to do is, just like you would pave and path, I have tons of videos on my channel. If you don't know how to do that, you're going to hit that plus sign, and we're going to find that pattern that we just created. So just look for that bright red check mark there, or whatever you made, and lay that down all in the area that you want the weeds to stop growing once and for all. And I'm just gonna probably end up speeding this up here just because it is so tedious, but again, so worth it. So just clear out that area, lay this tile down everywhere, and don't worry about trees and flowers and all that stuff. We will get into it very soon. So once you've got a good section going, give yourself a little break and just get used to this method here. I am going to just erase a spot so that I can plant one of my trees that I preserved. I believe it was a couple bamboo trees and a nice cedar. I try and preserve those as best as I can here. And one thing that I've also noticed when doing this is that it kind of almost helps you if you have an area where you do want a lot of trees and shrubs and flowers. You can see it really clearly, and you can just dig up little spots where you want your trees. I would have never thought to do this, but again, I think it could be helpful if you are struggling with laying out trees. So I'm just going to plant a couple bamboos here, and let's just go shoot this present down because it will not get out of my way if I don't. If you know, you know. So now we're just going to go back to your custom designs here and go to that pattern. And we're going to overwrite it. So when you overwrite something, I have tons of videos on this again. Be careful what you're doing here. So I'm just going to, on the top screen there, scroll over to the right. That last pattern there is transparent. So I am going to make my little pen here larger and just get rid of that check mark there. And this whole design now is going to be transparent, which is exactly what we want. We don't want anything to show there. So once you're done, you can go ahead and you can rename it. I am just going to erase that and label this blank. I think that that's smart just as far as reference goes. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you look in your designs that this is just going to be a blank square for you guys. But again, I'm just going to label it. I like to keep everything organized and be able to tell what it is. So now you can see that checkmark is gone and everything is nice and clean. And if you actually go over to your shovel, it does act as a tile. Now this area is completely protected and no weeds are gonna grow here. Isn't that so cool? I am just so blown away that I did not know about this. This would have been so helpful years ago. So if you are stumbling across this video, please drop a comment if you knew about this or not, because again, I did not. And you know, you can keep designing, you can remove some of those tiles just how you would anything else, and you can plant some trees, you can put some shrubs down. Again, you can do whatever you want, super customizable, but this area is now protected, which is awesome. I am so tired of picking up weeds. So once you're done with that, you can actually just go to other areas where, you know, if you're kind of scratching your head like, oh, I have an area where, you know, I'm really struggling with this. They just do not stop spawning. You can just do this wherever you want. It is going to work anywhere where there's land and enough space to lay down a tile. So again, this is just going to be super helpful. I tend to get a lot of the weeds really on like the edges of cliffs, surrounding cliffs, things like that. So again, you can just do this wherever you have enough space where you're like, oh my God, I am just so tired of these weeds spawning. So I am just going to get rid of them once and for all and lay down this transparent tile, and it will work, I promise. So I'm just doing a couple areas here, nothing crazy. I definitely will be going crazy, but as far as this video goes, I just wanted to show you guys a few areas. Just again, it's truly life-changing. If you're really big in taking care of your island as far as, you know, shrubs and weeds and making sure everything just looks good all the time, this is great for you, especially if you have an area where they just don't stop. You can actually just go right back and repeat pretty much everything we just did, and you can draw over this blank tile here, and that will show, it will overwrite where they are and show you exactly where you have them in case you just need to see where they are for whatever reason. So don't ever panic if you're like, oh my goodness, I just, you know, put them everywhere and I don't know where they are. You can see them by doing that, and then you can change it back to a transparent tile. So that is going to be it. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And please don't be shy, guys. Comment below if you've known about this or not. I'm super curious because I am just discovering this technique years later, and I want to know what you think. So go take care of your weeds on your island, and I will see you on the next video.